Okay. It's happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. I'm Winx
And I'm Adrienne Tilley.
and this is Marshmallow and Mimosa. And I feel like I'm just going to go ahead and address this in advance that I am extra quiet and raspy today because we have like unhealthy levels of smoke and grossness in the air.
Yep.
Thanks to some wildfires.
Yeah, we're going to see how hot we get here. It's 90-something, 98 out or something.
Alexa,
today.
how hot is it?
In Portland, it's 95 degrees with clear skies and sun. Tonight, you can look for mostly clear skies.
It's too much information.
And sun. Yeah, it was 105, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, it's been very hot. And
It wasn't as bad as I expected because it was so dry, so...
That's fair. But we are going without AC so that you can hear us better.
Yeah.
And just know that we're doing this because
Jerks.
this is how much we love you. You jerks.
We'll be toasted marshmallows by the end of it.
Aww.
It was decorny.
That was good. That was good. You were just making fun of me for being too corny earlier.
I don't like personally being that corny because I'm a jerk to everyone around me.
You're like the grumpy marshmallow that fell off the stick into the like dirt.
Yeah, now I'm just like half blistered and black, and
And also like half dirt. And it's, yeah.
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 No one will eat me though.
That's fair. That's how you get through life. You're a survivor.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have marshmallow analogies for everything.
Marshmallows are life.
Before we get into, that was a good line, but before we get into our episode today, just a general reminder about our giveaway. So our giveaway is still open until August 31st if you would like to enter for that. You can enter in two ways. One is to leave us a review on iTunes. Just go ahead and type up a lovely little review, hit the submit button, and then send us an email at marshmallowandmimosa@gmail.com to let us know what your username is, because otherwise we have no idea who you are. And then your email lets us know how to get a hold of you if you win. And you can also sign up by going to Patreon and becoming one of our patrons. And you can do that for as little as $1 per month, and you can get all kinds of really fun things depending on what level you decide to sign up for.
Yes.
Including adorable artwork things and early episodes of the podcast. And eventually you could get some really cool stuff when we start making stuff.
Cool stuff.
So definitely do that. And
Yes.
what can you win, you might be asking, because I don't think I've mentioned that.
Nope, you haven't.
Nope.
What can you win, Winx?
You can win one of the summer book bath boxes. And that was my subscription box, which sends you all of the supplies for you to take a lovely bath while reading a book, and it's all themed. And the theme for the summer box was Winx and Ink, which is my YouTube channel. And I themed it thusly because it is the 1-year anniversary box, and that's kind of how it came to be. So this one is just cute and personal and full of loveliness, and hopefully you will enjoy it. So yes, definitely go sign up for these things. You can enter both ways and possibly win twice. There is that chance. It's highly unlikely, but you could. So I encourage you to try.
Yes. Our iTunes reviews help a lot. So
Yes.
we appreciate when you can do them.
Yes, we appreciate all of the love. So with that aside, Adrienne, what are you into these days?
Yeah. So this week, I have two things that are kind of like put yourself out there and stuff happens, which I love. One of them is I did some art recently, like a series, and they were kind of like these sciencey posters. I did some like plankton and stuff and crystals, which Winx has one up on her wall right now.
I love it.
And my friend at work is really into, she used to be like a marine biologist type person and work on boats and all this stuff. But there's like this local nonprofit called Meet the Ocean. She knows the people there. And she got me in touch with them because they want to use that plankton art that I had. And they want to make temporary tattoos that they can give away at their fundraiser.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it'll be so cute.
That's amazing. Are you going to get some?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be like, hey, I'll order them for you because I want to get some for myself too.
Yeah.
And then you can pay me back for because I'm going to give them art for free because they're an awesome nonprofit. They're just trying to get started too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, I want one of these tattoos.
I know, they're going to be so cute.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool.
I know.
I'm like freaking out right now a little bit.
And then the second one was the neon stuff, which I talked about like a few episodes ago. I was mistaken that there was any classes anywhere nearby because I'm stupid.
That was really sad. No, you weren't, but that was just sad.
I know. But then I was like, well, there's this one really, really cool neon shop. I'm just going to email them. Why not? And it took a few weeks because I don't think they're email kind of person. But they got back to me and they're like, come on by the shop. We'll talk about it. And I was like,
I was freaking out when you told me about this.
I think it's just one guy, but he makes like all of the cool neon in Portland. I sent you the link and I was like, all the ones I think of when I think of cool neon are like this guy's done them basically.
No, like, and I don't even know anything about neon, but I knew this guy. Like,
right.
The spoon guy. Like, he's got his shop has a little neon spoon, little tiny neon spoon. And isn't his shop called like the Tiny Spoon?
The Tiny Spoon? Yeah.
And so, like, I've seen that. I used to live sort of near it, like my bus would go by it.
Yeah.
And so there were so many times where I was just like, what is this mysterious place?
Tiny spoon.
It's just like this random business. There's no words. It just has a little neon tiny spoon.
Yeah. I think because it's not like you walk in there, it's just his workshop. So yeah. So I'm going to go by next Thursday. So I'll be able to talk about it on the podcast.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to hear about this.
People love talking about what they're passionate about.
Yeah.
So
That's why we do this podcast.
Right. Exactly. So you never need to be like intimidated or anything emailing somebody. You should always just do it because they're never going to be mean.
Right.
Like you should they're just going to let you down really nicely if they have too many people. You know, either they won't respond to you because they have too much going on, or they'll let you down very nicely, or, you know, you'll actually be able to go talk to them. So you should just do it.
If they are mean, then you don't want to hear from them anyway. And that person's a jerk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
It took me a while to gain the confidence and lose the anxiety of just reaching out to people. And I think a lot of it's like that, the pressing the send button. And you just like, you write the email, that's the easy part, but then actually like pressing the button to send it would give me a lot of anxiety. And then I just
said sun, like S-U-N.
The sun button.
I was like, what is that? That sounds beautiful.
But like the send button. And then but now I just go like, boop, before I can even think about it. And that gets a lot of the, you know.
One time I did that and I was getting really pumped to send an email, you know, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I read through it like 25 times.
Yep.
I'm getting just like taking deep breaths to pump up. I hit the send button finally. And then I got the like autocorrect thing of like, oh, we noticed that you put Winx, but that doesn't seem to be a word. It's like, Mosa is just banging into my... Mosa
she's in a bad mood.
She's in a bad mood. She just ran right into my microphone.
Gonna like press some button on your computer and
just delete everything. The history of this podcast.
Wow, that'd be an amazing button to press.
She somehow goes onto the internet and just deletes the whole website. Yeah. Mosa is in a mood right now because it's so hot. I think that she's not playing as much as she wants to, so she has this energy kind of built up, but she also doesn't want to play and expend it.
I understand this feeling when you have like all of the mental energy left, but you're physically kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
So, did she just like scratch you?
No, she just like put her paws on my leg and did that stretch thing, but I need to trim her paws, so
I just like a wincing.
Hooked into my leg a little bit, but it wasn't malicious.
Yep. Next she'll knock over your tea.
Yeah.
You'll hear lots of like banging and like every once in a while this
we'll
podcast.
We'll just have to start bleeping things because we're...
Yep. Anyway, what are you into?
Is that okay? Is that... so I have been into all kinds of stuff. For one, last week I mentioned that my girlfriend Jess and I were getting ready to do a spooky date night.
Yeah.
We did that and it was awesome.
I saw the pictures. It was very cute.
It was super great. We made a pumpkin spice curry, which was fantastic. And
I was wrong about the pumpkin, like the specific curry. My husband corrected me on that. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ooh.
You just get scratched again?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just making like dramatic sounds in reaction to what you said.
Oh, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we made a pumpkin spice curry, and we had some nice like caramel flavored coffee, and we both dressed up in, I had like my spooky Skelly dress on, and we had like both kind of gothed out a little bit, and we decided to watch a spooky movie, and we ended up going with The Conjuring 2, which that reminds me, actually, Cole, Adrienne's husband.
Oh, he told me about this comment.
I made that comment, and then I was, okay, I need to respond to it, but so like we watched this movie, and we took a picture because we basically paused to both go pee, but we had been getting really freaked out, and so we got Glurb, who is the giant stuffed squishable dragon that is my co-host on my YouTube channel. So we brought Glurb into the living room with us just to have like our dragon protector squishy friend. And we took a selfie with Glurb and posted about how we got scared watching this movie. And in the movie, there's this like ghost of an old guy who sits in a chair. And Cole freaking comments on this picture, and he's like, "There's an old man in a chair behind you." And okay, I just want to point this out. So Jess stayed pretty late, you know, and I think she caught a bus around like 10 p.m. So I walked her over to the bus stop right by my apartment. And as I'm walking back to my apartment in the dark, alone, after watching that movie, is when I see this comment that there's an old man in a chair behind me. Obviously, I'm out in like outside, so there's no chair behind me, but I felt so creeped out. Like I had to just shut my phone off and just like get inside.
I know. I was like, I wonder how much that actually freaked them out when he told me you commented that.
So like I didn't respond because I had already seen it, and then I just like ran inside. I was like, I'm not gonna even address that right now. But this reminds me that I need to. Or you know what? I'm just gonna address it here. Cole, I thought we were friends.
That's just us and our constant want to be creeped out.
No, that was well played. Well played, Cole.
It was.
You
I was like, that's kind of mean and funny.
Yeah, no, it was well done. It was a well executed and well timed creepy comment. That movie. But yeah, so we watched that movie, and
I like that better than the first one, I think.
I actually, I really liked it. It was and it was just exactly what I was wanting for that spooky date. You know, like I wanted something that was like creepy, like ghosty and stuff, but also just kind of that like fun scare, you know. Mosa looks like she's about to do something really stupid.
Yeah, like a really big jump onto another sleeping cat.
Oh my god, no.
Oh, it was so dramatic up there. There's like shadows on the ceiling. It's just like monster lighting going on. Protecting the sleeping cat. Winx is making it. Yep. Okay. She tries to like jump through that little crack.
Literally, for the first time ever, stopped the podcast, took off my headphones to go walk away. She still looks like she's... Why are you in this mood, Mosa?
She just gave that little head shake of like, never mind.
Yeah,
just walking
I know.
away.
She is in a straight up mood today.
Yep. She looks a lot like Big Girl when she's in her constant moods. She's constantly grumpy. They get this like 1,000-yard stare, and then they just kind of like are roaming around looking for things to like bother you with.
Yeah, Mosa has just been trying to eat everything she's not supposed to, like lamps and books.
I put up a picture on Instagram of like her little tongue out as she's like linking a lamp.
Oh man, yeah. So this is my little drama diva queen, and I love her.
What were we even talking about? Conjuring 2.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a quick aside I meant to make, which turned into a giant ramble. But it was a very good date, and we actually have a date this weekend because it is our 4-month anniversary. Ooh. Yeah, so we're gonna go learn how to swing dance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both actually have taken...
Oh, no. Mosa.
She just
Oh
walked
my
by
goodness.
just to smack my microphone and then lay down on top of
Such a jerk.
Adrienne's notes. Wow. Okay.
I guess I won't have much to say about these books.
That's okay.
These stories.
Jess actually took I think she said like a year of swing dancing.
Wow, that's a
like
lot. Yeah.
she was going to like a swing
gonna show
dancing
you up.
group. It's been a while, so she says she doesn't remember a ton. But she probably, I imagine that once she gets going, she'll probably remember quite a bit. You know?
Yeah, a year. Yeah.
I went to, I think, 2 swing dancing classes in college, and so I don't remember anything. I feel like this episode is just going to be like, oh,
Everyone's
Mosa.
Mosa, stop it. She's
Oh,
gently grabbing my
Mosa.
pencil and
Just like a
that
sitcom.
darn Mosa.
Okay, so Mosa is a troublemaker, and I went on cute dates with my girlfriend. That is kind of where we are.
And I guarantee she's not going to meow once.
Right.
Yeah.
So the rest of the things that I've been doing, I've been reading quite a bit. I'm going through a few sci-fi reads that I'm pretty excited about, and I'm hoping that one of them will be the winter pick for the pick for the winter book bath box. I'm also now planning out the autumn box pretty seriously because that time is upon us. I always feel like I have a lot of time as soon as the one box goes out, but I really have to kind of get right on the next box. I don't know how people do monthly boxes. I mean, I guess they don't have full-time day jobs. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But kudos to people who do monthly boxes because I barely keep up with my quarterly boxes. Then on top of that, I found out this week that I am going to be moving. So I am not moving far. I'm moving just to another unit in my current apartment complex, but it still requires packing. So that is, we are surrounded by packing boxes right now.
I always have boxes one way or the other.
I know.
Crowding at the place.
Actually, I was making just such a joke the other day because I was like, I thought I was done packing boxes. Wah,
My
wah.
jokes are never original, so.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't know I made that joke, though, so it was original in its own way. And then, oddly enough, I found out yesterday that I'm moving offices at work.
Oh.
So this is just
A good move or a bad move? You have a nice window right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like a totally indifferent move.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
like I'm moving our Susan,
Okay.
who is one of our my current coworker.
Who's moving to Disneyland?
Yeah, she's moving to Disneyland. So she had the office next to me, and she is now moving to California and will be working remotely. So I am going to be just moving down to her office.
Gotcha. This is really boring to literally everybody
no
but
one
us.
cares. No one cares. So, in short, I'm moving to an identical office. Like
In
2
an
feet
identical
away.
apartment.
In an identical. I have the least exciting moves in the history of moves, but my new apartment is going to have fancy fixtures and floors, and I'm real excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most excited because the hardwood floors is going to result in YT sliding around because she has like
Cute.
floofs in her paws. And
With slippers on constantly.
yeah, so she can't stop whenever she's running on hardwood, and that's going to just make my life.
Have you posted any pictures of YT on Marshmallow Mimosa?
I don't think so.
You should.
I should.
She'll have some floof.
Yeah,
Pop
she
floofs.
needs some floof. So she's got a lot of floof. So yeah, that's going on. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is that someone actually sent me a message on Instagram earlier today to let me know about this book. And I just had to share this because I had no idea that this existed in the world. But it does. And it is called The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. And it is a sci-fi book featuring cats by H.P. Lovecraft.
What?
That is a thing that exists in the world.
All right,
Can we
then.
all just soak that in? Because, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, so I clearly have to read that too.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about H.P. Lovecraft's writing, so you'll have to read that and let me know how you like it.
I mean, yeah, I've only read some of the, like, more well-known things. Like, definitely not this.
Yeah, I never heard of that before.
So I will be very curious to see how it holds up to anything. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to make words about that. That's just an amazing combination.
Yep.
And I had to talk about it. So, related to sort of vintagey sci-fi reads, the topic today that we are talking about is not project related. We're doing 2 weeks in a row of sort of fun hobby time episodes.
Experiments in season 1.
Yeah, season 1 is all about just feeling things out.
So if you're like, I hate it when you talk about books, then you can feel free to let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We want to know that.
We really want to know.
Yeah.
Or if you love it and you want us to talk about specific books,
Yes.
let us know that too.
Really, we'd love it when you talk to us.
Yeah, please talk to us. We're so lonely. Super aside note. I have this little writing journal that I've been working on. And it's one of those, like, have you seen, there's a whole bunch of them. They're Q&A a day.
Oh, yeah.
Type, yeah. And this one is specifically writing prompts. It's like Q&A a day for writers. And the topic today was something like, describe what loneliness feels like.
Oh, well.
So, wow.
When our marshmallows don't talk to us.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So that's what loneliness feels like.
Wow. That got
please help
real
us.
intense.
So
real quickly.
I know. I'm sorry. I just read the whole mood of this thing down. Let's pump it back up because we are talking about some fun, amazing vintage sci-fi reads today. We decided in the last episode that it would be really fun if we each picked a short read. It was going to be short stories, but I will point out that Adrienne's short story is actually a novella.
Ooh.
Which is fine because I enjoyed it. But I was like, wow, this is a lot longer than I expected.
It was longer than I remembered it being.
No, totally.
I was trying to reread it, but I got halfway through and I just ran out of time.
Mine was actually the opposite, where mine was shorter than I remembered.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's really...
Evened out, I guess.
It totally does. So.
I ended up driving the days when it was super hot. And so I would have read it on the max, but yeah.
Totally understandable. But yeah, so we each picked out a short read that we enjoy.
Short read.
I mean, yeah, it's not just, yeah. And then have recommended it to the other. We each read the recommendations, and now we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
Yep.
Who's going for it? Or what one are you talking about first?
I don't know. Do you have feelings?
Mine.
Okay. Yours as in the one you recommended?
Yes.
Okay. So, the one that Adrienne recommended is Who Goes There?
Who Goes There?
Who Goes There? By Dawn A. Stewart, which is a pseudonym for John W. Campbell. And
you're going to know more about this than I do.
No, I learned a lot. I learned like a lot.
It's an old book.
Yeah. So for one, I was surprised. I read it before I realized when it was written.
Right.
And I was really shocked because, let me just go into the synopsis of the book, and then I'll throw out my fun facts. So, if you're not familiar with it, this is actually the story that inspired The Thing, which is a pretty well-known movie.
Yeah. They made one in the 50s.
Yeah.
And then they remade the best one in 88, and then there's a new one, I think 2010 or 2011, which is terrible.
Okay. Adrienne, that's
I know everything about the movies.
Yes. Yeah, there was actually apparently a lot of people were unhappy with the first one. There was like a big
I might have seen it a long time ago, but a lot of people don't talk about it. It's very good. So.
We just don't talk about it. It's the dark secret.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
So.
So basically, there's this group of people doing research in Antarctica, right? So already kind of creepy. Everyone is just totally isolated.
Lonely.
In this far off, lonely. That's what I'm going to write about in my journal today. Loneliness feels like the introduction to Who Goes There.
They made it really gross sounding.
They did. Like the very first sentence is just like, it stinks.
Yeah. And I was like, my friend who works she worked in Antarctica for a few years as a scientist, and I'm sure she'd be offended by it.
Yeah, it was.
But in the 1950s, it's probably very different.
It was from the 1930s.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was written in the 30s. Yeah,
Holy
which
crap.
is super surprising. Yeah. So there's this group of researchers, They're in Antarctica, and they realize that there's this magnetic anomaly going on, and they send some people out to kind of like figure out what is causing it, because our compasses are pointing north when we're not looking north or something like that.
Yeah, some kind of double magnetism going on from the South Pole and something else. Yeah.
They find the thing, and they're like, wow, this is really small. What could it be? A frozen alien from like 20 million years ago?
It was a frozen whole ship.
Yeah, there was a ship, and an alien. Yeah,
that had tried to get out and froze to death.
And looked really angry and like terrified.
Which I have comments about that, but... yeah, we're spoiling this, by the way, but who cares? Read it anyway.
Yeah, basically going to just spoil.
Yeah.
So... They take it back. They try to get the ship, but like there's this giant...
Oh my goodness, they fucked it up so bad.
So bad. There's like explosions. They're so lucky they didn't get blinded and like, melt.
I was like, whoa, you guys are real fail. You failed hardcore at that.
They did not. I mean, to be fair... Apparently they could, it was such a really weird metal combination.
Magnesium metal.
Yeah. So
they would have never known. 1930s, science.
Anyway, the ship, it's gone. Like, we just forget about the ship. But they did get the alien out of the ice. Creepy as it is, they wrapped it up in a tarp and they brought it back to base. And they're having this meeting with all the people, and they're like, okay, so we want to we're debating unthawing this thing, but we want to make sure everybody is on the same page, everyone gets a voice in this, because for one, we could unthaw it and we could get some really cool data, some science could happen, we could learn a lot about whatever this thing is. But we also know that like microbes and stuff can exist being frozen, and we could unleash a plague upon the world that comes from outer space, and no one can do anything about it, and the human race will just be like wiped out.
Yep.
So, given that, they decide, let's just unthaw it. So,
yep.
So they let it thaw out. It's creepy, and all of a sudden they wake up and they're like, hey, it's not here. And, it turns out that not only microbes can exist, aliens can exist being frozen for 20 million years as well. Mm-hmm. Just to not belabor the whole thing too much, it turns out that this alien is actually able to shapeshift, and it can take on not just the visual appearance of other creatures, but the mannerisms, just like the way of thinking. Mm-hmm. It can mimic them to such an extreme degree that you would never be able to know.
Look at under the microscope, it'll look like a human's cells. Yeah,
exactly. So you can picture this, and it has sort of like this base alienish appearance that it can go between shape-shifting. Basically, the alien is gone. They don't know what it has turned into. They're trapped all together in Antarctica.
Yep.
It's them, some dogs, and like some cows. And they know that among them somewhere is this terrifying creature, but they don't know who, they don't know what.
Yep.
And they have to try and figure out who it is and stop it before it totally assimilates the world.
Yep. Yeah, there was a great moment where they're talking about the possibility of it getting out, and they were like, well, thank goodness there's no animals or anything. Like, there's sometimes seagulls come in some seasons, but whatever. They were talking about, like, one seagull takes it out to the sea, and then gets a seal, and then that seal goes to like a whale, and then like literally everything on the planet will eventually become this thing.
And then an albatross flies by. Literally. Yeah. So, it's pretty terrifying. And I just want to point out,
was it scary? Did you find it scary?
I thought it was creepy. Mm-hmm. And of course I was mostly reading at night. So I first was reading just the PDF version that Adrienne had linked to me. And then when I realized that I was going to have to do this apartment move pretty last minute. So I went ahead. I had some extra credits on Audible, so
nice.
I just picked up the audio version. And so I figured, I'll listen to it while I do some packing, sorting, blah, blah, blah. I'm still convinced from a while back when I had that issue of like my light burnt out right after I was watching Ghost Hunters, and then I decided my bathroom is haunted. I'm still convinced of that because I'm listening to the book, right? And I just started it at the beginning, even though I'd already read like 20% or something. So I'm listening to it, and they get to the point where he's describing it, and it's starting to like it's all wrapped up in the tarp, and it's like dripping because the ice is sort of melting.
Yeah.
And then he goes to wrap it.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, I don't know if it was my phone. I don't know if it was my headphones. I don't know if it was the fact that I was actually like playing a game on my phone at the time. But suddenly, this loud screech noise comes through my head. He's just going to unwrap it. And he kind of pauses, and it was kind of like
an inhuman alien scream.
Kind of like an inhuman alien scream. If I was going to just guess, like a shape-shifting alien that could take over the world. Also, kind of like when a record scratch sound.
Interesting.
And I was like, those bastards! Why would they put that sound in just to scare me? So I go back because I was going to get the point in time so I could show you because I was
right. Like, why would they do this?
Yeah, why would they do that? That's so mean. And like my heart was just racing, and I went back. Doesn't do it again. Didn't do it again. It wasn't in the recording.
Yep.
I died.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I came back as an alien.
Oh,
yep.
Shit.
Yep.
So, did you like it?
I did like it. Especially when I found out that it was written in the 30s.
Yeah.
I was really blown away by how well it held up. I mean, there's some pretty shaky science in there.
Yeah.
Especially when they're getting into like blood tests.
Yeah, so the problem was I hadn't read it in a while, and so I needed to I couldn't remember like the ending part of it, but as well, because it's like I've seen the movie a million times, so I'm like, wait, what was in the movie, what wasn't? I can't remember how close it resembled the book, but there's this one, the best part of the movie, let me just tell you this part, it's like they have the people, so McReady is Kurt Russell in the movie, and he's actually like a pilot, and he's not a scientist, but he's the best character, and he's kind of like leading the charge here, like he does in the book, I think, but they have them all, him, he has everybody with a flamethrower, and he's like, okay, this organism is if you take a little chunk of this person quotes, then that will act independent of the organism itself, right? Yeah. So I don't know if they do this. I can't remember if they do this in the book.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So they have them all tied up in chairs, and he's getting the blood out, and he has has a piece of wire, and he heats it up, and then he puts it in each blood sample, and when it doesn't do anything, he lets them go and comes over to his side. And so there's an amazing point where they put in that blood, and then the blood is it goes out of it, and it's like a the little creature.
No, that's totally in it. Because
so good.
Basically, it mimics you and becomes you, but it becomes you in such an extreme way that your cells will act as your entire person.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
it's so great when because one of the guys is still tied up with them. So he's the one that's been caught, he starts turning into a big monster, and he's like, and the guy next to him is like, get it, I'm tied up next to this fucking, he's trying to get away. It is amazing. This is my favorite movie. That's why I wanted to
Yeah. No, this is totally fair. The reasoning behind our picks were pretty good.
Yes.
I think this was a great set of first picks because, I'll go into mine later, but Adrienne picked this because it is the story that inspired your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the movie, they have it starting off. So basically, there was this Norwegian base over the hill, 5 miles or something.
Okay.
And they do it. They find the thing.
Oh, okay.
And whatever happens over there, it was so basically the very first scene is a dog running through the snow, and there's a helicopter following it trying to shoot it. And it comes over to the American base, and they're like, why the fuck are they shooting at this dog?
Yeah.
And so they bring the dog in, and then the plane crashes, and they all die, and they're like, what is happening at that Norwegian base? They all went insane. And so they put that dog with all the other dogs, and then they go and check out the Norwegian base. And then it's like there's a big block of ice that's been melted out, and they're like, everybody's dead. And they're like, whoa, okay then, you know? And then they find this like site, but they like don't really know what's going on, and they come back, and the dog is not a dog. Apparently, a fun fact about the movie, they're shouting when they're in the helicopter, but it's in Norwegian as they're like trying to shoot the dog. And apparently, if you know Norwegian, they're saying, the dog is an alien, or something like that. You gotta shoot the dog is an alien. So really,
it's perfect.
Well,
oh man, no. Okay, this also just reminded me of this random scene that I did find creepy, but also kind of amusing because it was almost like it turned into Clue. Mm-hmm. Because so there's this one guy. I mean, there's several points where people basically start just going insane because they're so
stressed out
and freaked out by this. So this one guy just has lost it, right? And they're like, we don't know what's going on with you. We're pretty sure you've just actually gone insane, but we're gonna like put you in this room. And the guy starts just like singing hymns and praying, like yelling and stuff, and it's like really just grating on everyone's nerves and freaking them out. So they're like, you know what? Let's just like have a movie night. Like we're all really just freaked out. Like let's watch a freaking movie and just like drown
with
out
the
this
aliens,
music. Like,
you know, whatever. Who knows how many of us are aliens now?
Like, we don't know. There's really nothing we can do right now. Like we're all just gonna go crazy if we sit here. We're all just gonna start killing each other. So let's just watch a movie. And I'm like, that actually makes sense.
I would probably do that just to escape for a minute.
Yeah, so they decided to have this movie night. And then partway through, they realize they stopped hearing the hymns and stuff. And so they're like, wait, turn off the movie for a second. He stopped. Like, why did he stop? And he was murdered.
Dun, dun, dun.
But who done it? Because they'd all been watching the movie together.
Yep.
It's very dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this really good moment when they're like all kind of split off.
Yeah.
They got the dog in, they don't know what's going on, but they're all like, you know, going to bed for the night. And there's like this they picked the perfect dog like for that role, because there's like this moment where you're like watching somebody has his like headphones on and he's like doing something, you know, and then he's in his room, and then you just see the dog walk in and just like stare at him in this really like creepy, like
Adrienne
that's not a dog.
While saying this in a really creepy way.
It's so good. It is such an amazing movie.
Well, and side note is that so the author that wrote this, Campbell, again, that would like his pseudonym, fun fact, is actually based on his ex-wife's name. Her name was Dawn, I think it was Donna Stewart.
Interesting.
And he went with Dawn A. Stewart. Instead of Donna, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it was just like directly.
Yeah.
But so, and it was first published.
I still love you.
This is my homage. Can you imagine if that was what somebody wrote for you?
Awkward. Hateful eyes.
Like,
how many times do they talk about how hateful eyes were on that alien?
Oh my gosh. But and I do like knowing what it turned into as the movie and stuff. They do refer to it throughout the entire story as the Thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because they don't know what else to call it. They're like, that thing.
I like that that's what they called the movie.
Yeah, and then, so they like kind of, that was a fun tie-in.
Better than Who Goes There.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. Anyway, so Campbell got this story published in a like literary magazine of the time, which was originally called The Astounding Stories of Super Science.
Yes.
Yeah, like amazing.
Yeah.
Campbell actually became the editor of that magazine.
You have all the facts. Oh my God.
No, this is fascinating.
I need to do more research.
So Campbell actually, okay, so this magazine is from like the 30s, I think, is when it started, like 1930. And then Campbell later became the actual editor of it in 1937. And then a few months into his reign as editor, he had the story in the magazine. And yeah, air quality is terrible. So he had the story in the magazine, and he started bringing in a lot of other people. He also, at that point, I think, renamed it to Astounding Stories of Sci-Fi, or Science Fiction.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was one of the earlier publications to actually use the term science fiction, I think.
Nice.
If I remember.
Yeah.
I was reading a lot of random things today, so I could have some of these facts skewed.
I'm amazed I picked such an old sci-fi novel.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, too, is that apparently Campbell became, like, an icon to, like, he was the star that led the stars. He took under his wing people like Asimov and Heinlein and had them published and working for him as writers for this magazine. Like, they were, like, trying to emulate him and his writing. And he would just come out and he'd be like, hey, write a story about an alien that thinks like a man but better than a man. And then, like, just take, like, they would just go off. And he was really, like, super critical and like, super intense about making them push themselves and challenge themselves. And, like, just turned out the best authors of, like, vintage sci-fi. And I'm like, this is
I just
amazing.
picked a great first one.
This is amazing. I'd never heard of this person. Like, I've heard of the thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, like, this whole backstory.
I should look up his other stuff, but yeah.
I was really amazed at how much I learned. I was really impressed by how well the story held up. And
I'm patting myself on the back right now.
I'm patting you on the back as well. We're both sitting here patting.
Yep.
That was us, just patting Adrienne's back in sync.
Oh, goodness. So, go on.
No, I was just going to say that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, it certainly has a older sci-fi quality to it. Did you... you didn't know the date when you started reading it? Did you feel that way though? I
didn't know the date, but I did feel that it was vintage.
There's some repetitiveness for sure to the language, like the way he talks about it, especially in the beginning when they're having the argument. It's like, okay, because I probably wouldn't have noticed it much, but I went and looked at the reviews on one of the, because there's like a million versions of it on Amazon, but I went and looked at one because I was curious. I wanted to I want to hear some people say, because I hadn't read in so long. I'm like, what do people actually think about this? Because I can't remember. I just give you an assignment and then I'm like, let's see how this turns out. But there was like all 5-star and then one person with 1-star being like, this guy is so repetitive. God, like, how many times did you hear about freckles on somebody's arm? Like, super angry.
He was, so that's the thing. Like, it was really repetitive. I mean, I didn't find it in a bad way. I found it in a vintage charm kind of way.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Having read other vintage sci-fi.
I think all those concepts were so new. For somebody walking into it, they'd have to kind of like, this is a really big concept, like, to understand. Right. And even that's way bigger concept than a lot of other sci-fi I've read, you know, like this being and like all this, like
I mean, the thing is, like, reading it now, you see some of the science they're talking about and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's ingenious for the 1930s.
Yeah. It's still a really cool concept.
The concept, I mean, he's talking about, like the winds that were, like, wow. They were impossible in a meteorology. You
got it. That was it.
Meteorology says that this is impossible.
Yeah.
There's a much better, bigger word.
Meteorologically. That was it, I think. Maybe.
Meteorology. I can't do it.
It's okay.
It's impossible.
Move on. We got it.
And you're editing this one, so it's a lost cause. That's all in there.
Yep. It's all for your benefit, Winx.
Thank you. So, like, they're talking about so many different studies and schools of science that it just, for this time, it just seems like super hard sci-fi. Like, I was impressed. Which is why I was so shocked that it was from the 30s, because I didn't even think they were talking about these kind of things.
A lot of the classic sci-fi I read is from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, like, I feel like Arthur C. Clarke is more like 50s.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's sort of like, atomic age. It's like when things were getting more science fiction-y.
Yeah, and I love the old, like, their old theories on how science would work and stuff.
Yeah.
There's, like, something about it that's, like, very, like, cozy. Like, this warm, cozy feeling of just, like, Oh, yeah, like, because there's so much optimism there.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, just like this pure optimism for the future in science that it makes me so happy.
I think I mentioned this before, but one of my favorite things in life was reading the Martian Chronicles and seeing how they had advanced enough technology that they could, like, as civilians, buy a rocket ship that could travel to Mars, and yet they pack their typewriters.
Yes.
Like,
I love it.
Adorable.
I know. And now there's like, I remember reading a few years ago about how on Mars, some of the, like, they know that some of, like, the Martian dust would cause cancer or something. Like, it's something that, like, humans would never be able to interact with, like, the actual surface, like the dust on Mars or something like that. And I was like, so if you wrote a story like that today, it's just not possible. They talk about, like, the dusts of Mars, like, coming into their houses and stuff, don't they? So it's like, so it's like, there's, like, that optimism of being able, like, I can just walk out in my backyard on Mars, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
the atmosphere is totally fine to breathe. This is cool. I'm going to go write about it on my typewriter in my space house. Like, okay, that's awesome. Way to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, so I was going to say,
please.
so yeah, they do have some repetition of certain phrases or, like, ideas they kind of latch onto. He really latched onto this one character being very bronze.
That was weird.
Like,
that was McCready.
Yeah, McCready was very bronze.
I was like, are they trying to say he's like, because it's Antarctica? I think
like he had like a red beard that was like bronzy, and he was like, I feel like he was like a bronze statue,
6'7".
Yeah, he was like a bronze god or something. I don't know. Like
it was very old timey descriptions. Of
very
old
timey.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did pick up on was everything had an adjective.
Oh yeah. That was also in the review.
Yeah, everything had an adjective.
Yeah.
So I am like writing loudly with my blue pen on this black paper, and like I can't even just riff off a sentence with the
yeah.
But yeah, everything had an adjective, and that was a little bit that was a cat just thudding to the ground.
She had to come around the long way, so she didn't know how to get down.
Okay. Yeah. So that is my feelings, but I did really enjoy reading it, and as I said, I learned a lot, so it was a fun experience.
Yes, I could go into other things about. Oh, the one thing I just want to say about like the angry red eyes and stuff. It was funny how like it was just kind of like implied that it would have the same emotions as humans.
Yeah.
But I guess if you hadn't like thought about aliens and all this stuff, then maybe you would be like, why does it look so angry? But you're like, it's not gonna have the same. They did mention that vaguely, but they just kept on going back to how angry it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He did say, he said at one point, he was like, I know this isn't an alien, so I can't put human emotions on it, but that thing is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a face of evil anger.
Yeah. But I was also thinking when it went to the dog pen to like basically become a dog so that it could get out of there easier or like, or that was its first thought or whatever. I don't remember what. But then the dog started attacking it and stuff. And I was like, this thing was in a spacecraft that was far more advanced than anything we have on Earth. It isn't a really intelligent being. And you're just like, kill the fire. Like, like, oh my God, guys. Why don't you help it?
Right? Like, we're really good at first contact.
Oh my God. The worst possible. Like, I was like, yeah, that's like, you know, an alien lands on Earth and they're like, kill the fire. It doesn't look like a human.
It looks funny. I don't like it.
I was like, guys. That was pretty funny to me, but
yeah, no. So there was definitely some funny ways of thinking about aliens and first contact and science back in ye olden days.
Yeah, and it was all guys. You know, it's like, of course, only men can be scientists out in Antarctica.
That's
that
impossible.
Kind of. Yeah, which is also like old sci-fi. It's totally like that. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good stuff.
You want to talk about the one that I recommended to you?
Yes. I feel like I'm just going to be like letting you talk about all the facts again because it's like I was going to ask you like tell me about the history of this.
I mean, I can do that too. I'm prepared today. I'm caffeinated. I'm researched.
Man, I just seem like I'm a real idiot next to you, Winx.
No,
thanks a lot.
You weren't.
Did you want me to say the name of it? It's really long. The Seventh Sally, or How Torurl's Own Perfection Led to No Good, by Stanislaw
Lem.
Stanislaw Lem.
Yep.
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 Yep. Tell me about you did such a good recap. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a good storyteller, and I'll just need to work. Like, I feel like you're just gonna like all of your love and enthusiasm is gonna come out when you talk about this, though, because you love. Like,
I mean, but I don't want to take over the whole thing. You're a really good storyteller.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna like scramble it up too. Anyway,
you go, and I will.
I'm scared. I'm scared, Winx.
You can do this. This is good for you. Everyone wants to hear from you.
But it's kind of like an old timey, like a story of the gods, and kind of like it's kind of like it reminds me of like storytelling of like a Zeus and Athena and some kind of and they're doing their thing out in whatever Olympus or whatever if that was the name of it, I can't remember now. But it was about this god that I can't remember the name of because I'm really bad with names.
They have weird, like, sci-fi alien names.
Okay. It was Torurl.
Yeah.
Okay. Torurl is the main guy that you're following. But he's, like, going off into, like, he just wants to go explore a little bit. Or I don't remember his reasoning for wanting to go out, but he starts going off into the universe. And he comes upon this planet, and there's another guy down there, and he used to be a god. But he was such a terrible god that they took away his powers, and now he's just stuck there. So he decides, because he feels bad for him, he doesn't want to, like, give him his godly powers back, that he makes a little tiny universe for him in a box. And so that he can, like, control everything, and, like, the time goes by very quickly in that box, so he can have, like, hundreds of years in whatever day or something.
There's, like, little people in it.
Yes, a full working universe, basically. A full working world in there. And so he's like, I did a good job. And he goes back, and he talks to his friend about it. He's all proud of himself, and the guy's like, what are you doing? Like, and he kind of has the, if you made this perfect universe... Like, yes, you're saying that you just put some atoms together, but what are we? We're just atoms that are put together. Like, those are real beings.
Yeah.
That you did that.
And you just gave them to a tyrant.
And you gave them to an evil person.
Yeah.
That's gonna, like, And so he freaks out, and he goes, oh, my God. And he realizes what he did, so they hurry back to the planet, and, like, the little beings inside have, like, broken open and killed the guy. And, like, this is a full spoiler podcast, but it's like, also, like, read it in, like, 10 minutes kind of story.
Yeah, it's super short.
And did they made him into like a satellite or something like that?
Yeah, basically.
I didn't really exactly understand, but they like turned his dead body into like a satellite.
He's like just floating in orbit around the meteor that he's been exiled to.
Yeah, so I guess they like exiled again, but they actually killed him this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these little tiny beings have broken out of their box, and they've made like, they're starting to take over the whole planet, and it's like their own little civilization. Yeah. And I was a little bit worried for the two gods that just landed. I'm like, oh shit, are they like killing them too? Are they going to kill them if they don't get out of there?
They're like cool regular little people in the box.
Yeah.
But the tyrant just pushed him too far.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And the history of this one.
Yes.
Is that it inspired The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that just like period, or who's this author and stuff? I should have done my own research. You didn't tell me you were doing research like this, Winx.
I actually don't remember what his name is, but the guy, you could look it up. The guy who invented SimCity, this story is what inspired him to do that. And I wrote a paper about this story and about why you should not kill your Sims in violent ways. Because eventually the singularity will happen and they will crawl out from your computer screens turn you into satellites.
I'm not going to be able to find something, especially while I'm like trying to like talk to.
That is okay. But yeah. Basically, it inspired The Sims, and this is how we have the amazing game that is The Sims. I love The Sims. We're going to talk about this more on another gaming.
Yeah, but we have to talk a little bit right now.
Yeah.
I was going to try to look up the date at least. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Just like sing a song on 1965.
There you go.
Do you enjoy the feeling of being a god? Is that why you like The Sims?
No, I feel like it's more that I can live out my dreams.
Uh-huh.
It's not so much that It's not so much that I control the Sims, it's that I can pretend that I am the Sims.
Do you think that's the general reason people do it?
I think it varies, probably.
Yeah.
I think there probably are the godlike thing. Because, like, so I like that you saw them specifically as gods, because I saw them as more of, like, I guess it's kind of a fine line, but I saw them as more like Q from Star Trek.
Oh,
like just really super powerful.
I think it immediately reminded me of Stories of Zeus, so that's why.
Yeah. See, I always picture them as just very powerful aliens.
Yeah.
That are out, and I think they're.
So it's like when Q was exiled, is that one guy?
Yeah, basically. Okay. Well, and I don't even know if that guy. I don't think that tyrant guy was the same type of alien as they are. I think he was just like a tyrant, and his people had enough, and so they kicked him off their planet. But again, I haven't read this in a while, so. But this is anyway. So I pictured it as like he's sort of regular alien tyrant guy, and then they are these more super powerful beings, but they just kind of felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And so they gave him this box.
Yeah.
But
it's another good sci-fi concept. And kind of, I can see why you like that, because you did a lot of like AI stuff in school, right?
Yeah. So I did my computer. We didn't really have necessarily like concentrations or anything for computer science. You kind of just took your base classes and then loaded on whatever extras you wanted. But I definitely really enjoyed artificial intelligence, and this particular class was called human computer interactions.
Oh, okay.
So HCI.
That's like the basis of UX.
Yeah, exactly. So it was more of like a seminar discussion kind of course. So there wasn't really any programming or anything. We were just kind of theory, and hence we read this random like sci-fi short story as part of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So it just kind of complemented all of that kind of coursework, and I just find it really fascinating.
Totally.
Yeah. I also just love The Sims. And so it makes me really happy to know that it was inspired by a like sci-fi story.
Yeah, that's awesome. The heating up too much, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
When I looked at pictures of The Sims online, I think I've only played the first one.
Okay.
And so that's why I had a bad experience, because I like...
We should like do a stream of you trying to play Sim. I mean, not
the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could easily play it, but you could play Sims 4.
Is it 4?
4 is the latest one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I could. There's part of me that's like, well, that bad experience I had first. Yeah. So my feelings about The Sims, and then me going like, but if I really do like it, and then all of this time it gets poured into this new game, that's also a scary prospect. So
that is the difficult thing about The Sims. Though I will say, I love The Sims, and I always, when there's a new one, I get it. Most of the expansions I'll end up getting at some point. But whenever I actually play it, I'm more of a like sprinter when it comes to Sims. Whereas Jess is more of like a marathoner.
Yeah.
Like she's got the same world, the same like families of Sims that have just been going on for like generation upon generation.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's
so intense.
Amazing. She has she was showing me some of the family trees.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could do a whole episode where I just talked about like the amazingness that is my girlfriend's Sims world.
She should just do her own podcast about her Sims world.
That's Or
on Twitch, it's just like an ongoing little series about like.
She was talking about doing like a Twitter account. She has a Twitter account where she was tweeting a bit about like what was going on in her Sims world. But she was talking recently about doing something else, and I can't remember. We were talking about a couple different options, but that would be awesome.
Do you just let it play out now? you like set it up and they can because I feel like the first one was like if I didn't literally put them in the bathroom, they wouldn't go, they like pee themselves. And it was like, and I'm like, that's why it was like really depressing when I played it, because I'm like, this is all life is. If I don't like go to the bathroom, if I don't like, like I have to just go to work every day and then I have to go to sleep, and then I just like, it just felt like, I'm like, this is just life and it's awful. Like,
I mean, they still have like their like bladder needs. They will have to pee, but they have more control. So like, and you can adjust, like you can set it to let them just do their own thing.
Yeah.
And then you can follow certain people. You can just let it like play out. And like if you have a huge family of Sims, like you can only control so many people at a time, unless you're just micromanaging. Which, whatever.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever
right?
play style you prefer.
Yep.
But yeah, you can let them do their own thing, and then, like, sometimes they will get into bad situations, but usually they will be able to make it to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I love, and I feel like, do you like doing, like, character creation in games? As a, like, designy person, is that something you enjoy?
No.
No?
My husband and I talk about this. This is something we'd probably end up talking about on like our part 2 games, but it's like I prefer it like maybe we can dive into it more on the game one, but I prefer it when it's like The Last of Us or something where I have a full character and their actions feel true to them. Like they actually, I'm like I don't care if I'm playing like an avatar of myself. I'd prefer to have like a real person. Like I'm seeing a real story. I'm a big story person in games. So, yeah.
So, see, in The Sims, you have to, like, make your own story.
Yeah.
Basically.
So.
Although I also think that The Sims can be a just amazing basket of ideas for story writing if you let them have control.
Yeah.
And just see the shenanigans that they get into.
Yeah.
And, like, the terrible choices that they make can be great inspiration, I think, for, like, if you're having a hard time with NaNoWriMo, just boot up The Sims for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, tangent, a friend of mine was talking about a story she was writing. She writes horror, and she was talking about wanting to do another game of Dread. Dread is like a short... Have you ever heard of Dread?
I don't think so.
It's a, like, short-form role-playing game, and you have a Jenga tower. And at certain points in the story, you have people pull a Jenga block, and it's like based on the tension of the moment, or if they're going through something difficult or whatever. Okay. And if the Jenga tower falls, then something either very extreme happens to you, or your character dies, or like some huge climax happens in the story.
Whoa.
Yeah, so like it like helps like just add like tension to the game. It's very cool. It's like
that does actually sound really cool. Yeah.
But I was like telling her, I'm like, you should like workshop your horror stories by doing a game of Dread based on the story that you're thinking about, and just like bring in some people that you know are good like improvisers, and have them like play out some of these scenarios and use some of those for your story, because that would be awesome. Like,
yeah, you get a lot of like pretty fresh ideas,
right? Because like writing novels and stuff is like one of the few things where it's like, no, you're supposed to do it alone, only you, and it's like, why? Like comics are usually at least 2 people are on them. Like, it's like, it's a collaborative effort. So why can't novels be a collaborative effort?
Well, and also you can take inspiration from so many places.
Right.
Like,
doing like improv storytelling is going to be like the best. Like, you just like get a lot of like interesting, very like, Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody should do that because it's awesome. I just want to like participate. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. I was talking to our DM, and I was like, I feel like we have enough heavy hitters in our group, because we have like 7 characters that I can probably like concentrate just on like illusion and stuff, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yes, like charm person, like, oh man, that's all I want to be doing. So I'm so excited.
I cannot wait until we play again.
Yep. Soon.
Actually, by the time you guys are listening to this, we will have just played.
Finally.
It would be so good.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. But anyway. I feel like there's some other like things I wanted to say about that, but like because it's like about the story, because it's like there is interesting like concepts of like artificial intelligence, and like at what point does a intelligent thing in your computer literally become an intelligent being? Like there's always like that fine line of like artificial intelligence, and at what point is it past programming, and it is actually its own being and that kind of thing. It's a
At what point does it become Lieutenant Commander Data?
Right. Yeah.
Who is my favorite Star Trek character ever, BT Dubs. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I am fully here for android rights. And yes. Mm-hmm. Which is why you should be nice to your Sims.
Yeah. Yeah. I always feel really bad when Cole's like playing a game and there's any like, what are some of the games? Like, I don't think it's Uncharted. No, it's like Far Cry and stuff. Okay. Those games, they have like, kill that fox to get its pelt and stuff. And I'm just like, no.
Oh, the Far Cry games?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. The way that, like, the sounds? Uh-huh. No.
Yeah.
I hate it. No.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. And there's like moments where I'm watching him and he'll just like kill a random person. I'm like, why'd you do that? I'm like, it's just like an NPC.
like the animation in those games is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But I cannot deal.
Yeah.
I cannot deal with it.
I know. I'm always feel really bad. Yeah. So I can't. Yeah.
The other day, I think I accidentally killed a rabbit in Guild Wars 2 with an area effect, and it was very sad.
If it was like you're trying to survive out in the wild, like there's a certain amount of just like, you're just like, I need that belt for a random thing.
Like Pioneer Quest.
But it's, but if it's like, no, I need it to, my character to survive, that's a little different than just like, oh, it gets me points for some random, I don't know.
Right,
what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
I've seen Cole kill animals for no reason at all, and I'm like,
questioning.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, what? When he hears this.
Cole?
No, he's heard me go like, when he kills a fox and stuff.
Between that and that comment you left on my Facebook picture, I just don't even know anymore.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are officially at an hour.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Spot, unless you had other specific things you want to talk about.
No, I think I just feel like I was going to like tease a little bit of us brainstorming some awesome, potentially digging into some more old sci-fi. And I
think you should tease away.
I just did.
Hey, do you feel teased? Because you should. Yeah, we really enjoy doing this, and we think that it would be a fun thing to do in the future.
Yes.
So look forward to that.
We enjoy talking about books.
Yes.
Do you like hearing about talking about books?
Let us know. Leave us a comment, which segues into my outro.
Let's do it. Pew, 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 pew. Like some kind of like...
Oh, that was good. We should have like laser sounds.
Yep.
Okay.
We should.
We're going to talk to a sound guy.
We'll talk to our sound guy.
Yeah, we got a sound guy. I imagine he would actually be really into lasers.
Totally.
Yeah. Peter Carmen, if you guys haven't heard us mention that, he does our intro and outro music.
Yes, we keep on forgetting to say that.
He's amazing. I mean, we put credits in all of the episodes. But
we do,
yeah. He's awesome. You guys should check him out. Also, you should check us out more often. You can do that by subscribing on iTunes. Yeah. You can also leave us a review, as mentioned earlier, that'll enter you into our giveaway. It's very, I can't decide if that's creepy or like sultry. It might be creepy. But that kind of goes with the theme of this episode.
Your story wasn't creepy though, but yeah.
It was kind of creepy. I mean, the guy got turned into a like organic satellite.
Yeah.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can listen to our videos and watch amazing, adorable artwork. You can leave us comments on there. Let us know if you're liking what you're hearing, if you want to hear more of it or less of it, or whatever.
Less of it.
It would be a little sad, but we want
honesty.
We want your honest opinion. Also, check us out on social media. You can look for us on Twitter, and I don't know why I'm waving my arms around in this like magical.
No one would ever know, but you told them.
Way, but I just feel a little self-conscious about it now that I'm doing it. I'm swishing. You can check us out. Search for us on Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat if you want to see a really boring account that never posts anything.
Yeah.
You can also find us at marshmallowmimosa.com, and you can email us at marshmallowmimosa@gmail.com.
Bam. All
of the things. So yeah, check us out. Give us your feedback. And Patreon. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to mention it again. Go find us on Patreon.
Yes.
And that will also enter you into the giveaway. It's great. Yeah, so on that note, to all you Moonshot Marshmallows.
Yep.
Go read a book.
Go.